There's this new term called the new rich. And the new rich is not just about having more money, it's about having more time and freedom in our hands. And I've been on this journey in trying to be a part of the new rich, and I've been looking for different principles, different concepts that can help me do that. And I found this interesting topic by Cal Newport written in his book called The Deep Work. And it's basically talking about how can we add or how can we be more focused in doing the work that we have so that we can have more free time on our hands. Now we can talk about how to be more focused by stating the law of productivity. The law of productivity states that high quality work equals time times intensity of focus. Now, of course, we don't want to put in more time in the work that we're doing, but we can increase the intensity of focus that we have. And that's something that we're going to talk about in this video. In the book, Cal Newport starts talking about the difference between shallow work and deep work. Shallow work is non-cognitively demanding logical style tasks, and it doesn't create much new value in this world, and it is easy to replicate. On the other hand, deep work is work performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that pushes your cognitive abilities to their limits. It creates new value, and it is harder to replicate. Now, why is deep work important? There are 3 reasons. Number 1 is that it helps you focus on what truly matters. When we don't apply deep work on the tasks that we need to do, our brain tends to fly or hover around things that are not that important. When we lose focus on the things that we want to have or what we need to do, it goes to a state of thinking about the things that we don't need to do. It goes into the state of thinking about what could possibly go wrong instead of thinking what could possibly go right. The second reason is that it helps you be in the state of flow. Flow is a state where you're just so focused that you don't even feel like you're spending that amount of time working on a thing. You can see this from basketball players, from the top athletes in the world. They call it when you're in the zone. That's exactly what it feels like to be in the flow. The flow that you're doing is basically you're putting yourself in a state where you're just laser focused that you don't even feel like trying or even working. Most of the time, you won't even realize that you're working for 2 hours, 3 hours straight on the task or the project that you're working on. I love this because generally flow generates happiness. When you are doing something and you're focused on it, you know that you're getting better at it. You're improving your skills. And when you're doing that, you're allowing yourself to add more dopamine, to increase the happy hormones inside your body, and overall generate more happiness in your life. Now, the third reason why deep work is so important, it helps you do something meaningful. When you're in a state of deep work, you're doing something that matters to you. And when you're doing that, you're basically working on something that is more meaningful, more purposeful, and more satisfying, I could say. Now, our main task is not to generate meaning from the work that we're doing. It's basically to discern the meaning that is already there. A lot of us might think, okay, does deep work only apply to artists, to creatives, to thought leaders in this world? No, it applies to everyone. And you don't need a rarefied job to do it. You just need a rarefied approach. You just need to be able to apply deep work in the work that you're doing, whatever it is. Now, where can you basically find deep work? You can find it outside your profession. When you're learning a new skill like pottery or learning a new instrument, or just learning a new hobby like skateboarding or playing basketball. When you're so focused in the task that you're doing, you're basically applying deep work. Whether it's photography, writing, vlogging, podcasting, creating art in any way, that requires deep work. You can find deep work in those activities. Now, I'll be talking about some tips on how you could be more focused using the different strategies and tips here in this book, but there are so many strategies and tips that I won't be discussing, so I recommend reading the book. I know it's kind of thick, but I swear that it's really worth it. So go try it out, go check it out. I'll link this below where you can buy it so that basically you can get one. Okay. Now let's talk about how to be more focused. The first one is to ritualize. Cal Newport talks about the importance of creating new systems that help you apply deep work in your areas. Now, there are different systems available to you. There's no one system that would generally work for all of us. So you gotta make sure that you apply deep work according to the lifestyle that you have. For some people, it works that having deep work days or even weeks, like Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs would go into a cabin and be there for 2 weeks and just think and just read books and apply deep work, right? All his food, food and his laundry is already prepared. All he gotta do is apply deep work. Now, for most of us, we really can't do that, and so that's okay. We can also apply bimodal philosophy, which is also discussed here, the different philosophies of applying deep work. Some people would like to apply deep work by picking out a day in the week where they will apply deep work. So for example, for Tuesdays and Thursdays, you will apply deep work. For the rest of the day, you're gonna do some shallow work. And don't be ashamed or don't be guilty when you're doing shallow work. At a certain point, shallow work is still very, very important because it allows us to finish all the tasks, all the projects that is necessary for us to achieve the goals that we want to achieve. But going back to the point, you gotta make sure that you adjust deep work according to your lifestyle. The second tip that I have for you is to embrace boredom. We don't know what to do with boredom. Most of us don't want to embrace boredom because, I don't know, it's just human nature to just not sit around and not do anything. But that actually helps you with applying deep work. He mentioned a quote that says, idleness is not just about having a vacation, it is actually necessary for getting work done. And I believe in that. I've been able to take short and mini vacations in the schedule that I have, and it helped me become more inspired. It helped me become more motivated. And so what I did when I became idle, I embraced it. I embraced doing nothing. I embraced boredom. I didn't try to focus or fill my schedule with shallow work or things that would distract me in the long run. I just focused on being there, being fully present in the moments that I was taking idleness or being in an idle situation. One way that you could do this is to respect your downtime. Now, downtime is basically what you do, or some people call it cool down. It's what you do before you take a rest or a breather. It's what you do before you actually sleep. And a lot of people don't take their night rituals very seriously, and that's the reason why they don't also have a very good morning rituals. So if you want to be productive in the morning, the secret is actually found in the rituals that you have in your bedtime. Now, respecting your downtime allows you to just flush out toxins from your mind, and it will help you recharge and actually make you more productive and more efficient in the following day. Understand, when you want to embrace boredom, it's okay. You don't need to do anything or think about anything. Also, a key thought is when you're working, work hard. But when you're done, be done. Do not bring the work that you have to the other areas in your life. Life is not just about doing the work that you have. It's also about experiencing different memories, creating new experiences with the families and the friends that you have. The third tip that I have for you is to limit distractions. Now, I won't be able to point out every distraction there is in our generation, but I want to help you out by giving you these two guide questions. The first one is, what is your goal? Like, if your goal is to finish this project, is to write a book, the second question that you need to ask is, what are the key activities that supports your goal? Now, for me, if I have a goal of writing a book, the key activities is researching about it, reading more books, going to Google Books, reading more articles about it. And when I am clear about that, I'm gonna ask myself if the thing that I am doing right now is aligned with the key activities. And if it's not, then probably it's a distraction. He also talks about, and it's also a very interesting and amazing idea, do not take breaks from distractions, take breaks from focus. We don't realize that our default approach in almost anything is to go to social media and to embrace the distractions that we have. But we don't realize that it's actually impairing our ability to focus and to apply deep work in our lives. So make sure that you also become intentional with using social media, with allowing the distractions to come into your life. So for example, you said that this is gonna be your time where you check social media, where you just scroll through TikTok, Facebook, whatever you're using. That's okay. Maybe that's your leisure, but you gotta make sure that after that time, you're not going to do that anymore. If you say that I can scroll through Facebook from 9:30 to 10 p.m., then do that. But after 10 p.m., stop scrolling Facebook. You gotta be strict with yourself. You gotta be fulfilling the promises that you're currently making to yourself. The next step that I want to share with you is to create artificial deadlines. There's this thing called the Parkinson's Law, and it states that work expands as to fill the time available for its completion. So what it's saying is that if you say that you're gonna work on this project for 2 months, it's gonna basically take you 2 months to finish it. But if you said that you're gonna finish the project in just 2 weeks, chances of you actually finishing the project in 2 weeks will also be increased. Because when we have that kind of free time, it's much unstructured and it's something that are brain just allows us to procrastinate. If it's not urgent, we're not gonna do it. That's why I believe that deadlines are one of the best motivators that we can have. So create these artificial deadlines in your mind. So if you have a project, try saying, okay, I need to finish my first chapter for this night. I need to get a title for this night. And somehow you'll be able to do it if you just pressure yourself just a little bit more. The last strategy that I want to share with you is to schedule everything. I'm a big fan of this. Basically, what you need to do is to schedule everything that you need to do. From waking up, from eating breakfast, from finishing your morning routines, from applying deep work in your areas, from finishing the different tasks that you need to do. You got to put it in your calendar. Because when you do that, you'll be able to become intentional with it. And also, you just be reminded on what are the things that you need to do for the day. There's this concept called time blocking. It's basically when you just block the time that you have for a specific task that you need to do. So I use this. A lot of people are using this. I just used Google Calendar for this. And basically, the day that I have for the next day, I basically time block it to make sure that I am intentional about it. Now, a lot of people, time blocking is not working for them basically because they think that having a time block is just being about rigid and just having that constraint in your schedule. It's not about that. It's about being thoughtful about your actions. It's about being intentional with your actions. Now, you need to also apply a little bit of flexibility in your time blocking. So for example, you weren't able to do what you said that you were going to do in this specific time. Give yourself 5 minutes to 10 minutes to readjust the remaining schedule that you have so that you'll still be able to feel fulfilled. You're still intentional about the things that you're doing and it won't destroy your self-esteem. And this is important because the more that we try to put things on our calendar or even in our to-do list and we're not following through on those, what happens is we destroy a little bit of our self-esteem. It's like we're making promises to ourselves and we're not fulfilling it. So don't do that. Give yourself some kindness, allow yourself some flexibility and adjust. It's okay. There's a lot of things happening that are out of your plan and that's totally normal. And those are the strategies that I want to share with you on how to become more focused. I basically learned all of them here in this book. If you want to get a copy of this one, the link is below where I bought it. You can also use that. And yeah, I guess that's it for this video. I just want to give you a final word on deep work. Deep work is very important because a deep life is a good life in any way that you want to look at it. So I hope that you apply deep work in all of the areas in your life. And I pray that you'll be able to produce more high quality work in your life. And so that's it for this video. My name is Alec Cuenca. If you want to learn more about the things that I'm doing, click that subscribe button, like this video. I also have videos about love and relationships and also more about personal development. If you want to learn more about them, just check it out here. And again, guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of you. Till next time. Peace.